identified by your microbes. And these scientists are now making the bold claim that they can check those microbes to solve crimes, to detect diseases, to do public health kind of things. I thought, well, really? Why not put them to the test? There he is. These are the people. And go after this small little bit of personal history I got. So I decided to reproduce the John F. Kennedy, Robert Krulwich handshake. It's as an experiment.
What?
I could find somebody who'd be President Kennedy who would shake my hand, and we could measure and calculate and see. So I got a team of producers from the WNYC show Only Human to help me doing this, and we found a scientist.
Oh, hey, your name again? Jack Gilbert. Jack.
Jack Gilbert is director of the Microbiome Center at the University of Chicago. And then I don't have President Kennedy around anymore, so I got myself, you can be President Kennedy for these purposes, to substitute President Kennedy.
Okay.
Can you do JFK, by the way?
Our nation will put a man of war, safely. No, just.
This is Neil deGrasse Tyson, director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History here in New York. Have you ever had your hand shaken by a person that you feel like you'd like to have his or her stuff sustained?
Yeah, I'm not that weird.
Okay.
There's no part of anyone else. I just want to.
What about if you got Carl Sagan's underwear? Would you keep Carl Sagan's underwear?
No. But I have come to love and embrace all bacteria that are part of my body.
You are awesome.
So am I your man for this?
You are absolutely the man for this.
And look at me.
I will so pick up food that fell on the floor.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Me too.
I don't even wait 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is always what we do anyway.
Oh, exactly.
So let me explain what it is I want to do. I don't think no one exactly knows the answer to this question, but if a person shakes another person's hands for a ordinary interval, then the question is how much of person A lands on person B and how much of person A stays on person B, but most crucially, for how long.
Presumably, there's an exchange.
Yes.
So we're nicking off.
You do
back and
have
forth.
enormous hands, though, now that I'm looking at them.
Yeah, I know when I try to find gloves, it doesn't work. So it's 3XL.
All right, so just so we can begin saying, the fact that you are carrying all these microbes on you, first of all, where are they predominantly?
They're all over. So every mucosal surface in your body, so your mouth, your gastrointestinal tract all the way down, your skin, your fingernails, your urogenital tract, your ears, every part of you that's
Your butt.
your butt, especially your butt, is covered in bacteria. And just sitting here, you're actually releasing into the air around you, like, think Pigpen from the Peanuts cartoon, remember? About 36 million bacterial cells an hour. So every minute.
How do they come over me?
They are literally leaving on the surface of your skin cells that you're shedding, and through your respirations coming out of your nose and your mouth.
Okay.
Also detaching. So a lot of them they dry out on the surface, and they can literally just drift off as dust.
But just so I understand this, the anatomy of the room, all over this room, on the doorknob, on the table surface, on his pants, on the desk, and on the chairs, there's Neil everywhere.
A lot of them are colonic Neil. Right, so a lot of them actually coming out of your pants, right, and they are on the surface of the chair and they deposit fine patina of cells.
Multi-syllabic word, but I think we understand what you mean.
Yeah, they are.
Why would that be? Is it just?
It's the largest resource. It's the
Just to get out of me.
and it does go all the time.
All the time. So that
Even though it's not a bathroom.
Even though
the
it's not
surfaces of chairs would have room to most.
yes.
All right, so now,
Let me
yes.
just time question real quick. So Jack needs about 20 minutes for us to do this handshake
10
experiment.
minutes.
That's, by the way, producer Kenny Malone.
Why don't we start the experiment now?
That's a good idea.
Right, and then we have time to talk in between.
Okay. All right, what are you going to do?
So what we're going to do is we have little test tubes
I'm
here.
not offering you my butthole. It doesn't mean I'm offering you my
Just-
microbes.
Just stand up. So each one of
Like
these.
you're going to do hands.
Absolutely. So we have these little sterile tubes. So each tube, the little green cap tube, has a sterile swab in it with a completely sterile tip. We're going to open that up and very quickly rub very vigorously each of your hands. so your palm and the inside of your fingers. And we're going to do that very vigorously, then put it as quickly as possible back into the sterile.
It's just your control sample.
This is the starter.
The starter.
And then you are going to shake hands with the young man over there, right, with Robert. And we're going to definitely trying to see how many you have received from Neil and how many Neil has received from Robert.
Wait, he is swabbing your hands before you handshake so that he can figure out what's the baseline that you've got on both your hands pre-handshake.
Right.
And he's sure you're going to have different bacteria on your hands? You and Neil?
Yeah.
So this is where it gets very interesting. So you have very specific types of bacteria, and he has very specific types of bacteria, but they're unique to you.
I mean, I guess, like if I just think about it for a second, like the two of you had different days, you arrive in this office, you've probably touched different places, you've eaten different things, so okay, maybe you have a little bit of difference. But in general, you are both men, living in New York City, breathing the same air, riding the same subways.
Yes, exactly.
So why would you be that different from one another?
Well, because there's one very important difference between us.
Okay.
We have different mothers. So have you been told anything about what this is?
I heard a little bit about the microbiome, but I'm happy to hear more.
This is Dr. Siobhan Dolan.
I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, and I'm actually a clinical geneticist as well.
And we brought her in because she knows more than most when it comes to moms and babies.
During my training years, I delivered 100 babies a year, so that was about 500 babies. Then I was a private practice at Yale New Haven Hospital for a bunch of years, and I probably delivered another couple hundred. And I had 3 kids myself, so I was on the other side as well.
Okay. And she says, as a fetus, before you're born,
You're, exposed to what's in the amniotic fluid, but it's a pretty clean setup in utero. But then you go through the vagina, and the vagina is just a host of bacteria and, yeast and amniotic fluid. There's blood.
and this moment is in essence your bacterial baptism.
Right, exactly.
Because at this point, you're this pristine, unadulterated hunk of biomass. The bacteria,
They're like, give me a ride. I'm going to jump on.
The bacteria colonize that surface because that's what bacteria do.
and so finally, when the baby's born, the doctors, they take it.
You make sure they're stable breathing, and then right up onto mom to start to immediately promote the bonding and skin to skin.
In your own case, if you can remember,
I can.
what happened,
What I remember is just calling for him like, you're mine, and
Right,
I've
your
been
ass.
waiting months to meet you, and here you are, and like just kind of embracing him and looking in his eyes. And so there's a sort of bonding there that I will never forget.
and in the same moment, you're going to get some micro bonding too.
It's a very dynamic hug.
And bacteria go from the mom's skin onto the baby.
I did this for both my children. I took both of them onto my bare chest at birth.
But you wanted to compete against your wife.
Absolutely, maybe a little bit. And he was a helpful thing, we both. So yeah, that was the reason I did it.
And the thing is,
I'll start. So I'll do it first.
the strains of bacteria that we get in those first few hours,
Okay, so you need to do that.
and to a lesser degree, the bacteria we meet later in the first year of our life stick weird things in our mouth, and the dog comes by. Ready?
Yeah.
Those strains of bacteria stick with us
Ready, set.
forever.
Go. So let's swab it as much as possible.
Even the bacteria the Jack will find
It tickles.
now on Neil's hand,
Now we'll do Robert.
all right, in my hand,
Oh, the fingers.
are descendants of those first moments of contact.
There we are, and
Okay.
put that back in there.
And crazily enough,
Gotcha.
even if you try to get rid of your bacterial inheritance, put a salve on, get rid of all your skin bacteria, take lots of antibiotics and get rid of all your tummy bacteria, and then move to some completely different part of the world where the food is different and the temperature is different, still, the bacteria you got from your mom will be creeping about.
Why? Why would that be?
Well,
There's something in ecology called the founder effect, whereby the first organisms to get there and to be successful in an environment, they alter the trajectory of the rest of the ecosystem and change how it develops, right? So, if a tree species, certain type of tree lands on an island and becomes dominant, then it will support the types of birds and the types of monkeys and the types of insects that love that type of tree. So the same is true in the microbiome. So you have a lifelong partnership with the bacteria you interacted with.
So we know that Neil and I each have a unique mix of microbes, almost to the point where they're like a fingerprint. But if we shake hands, just a mere handshake, how much of his is going to get on me, how much of mine is going to get on him, and most important of all, is how long will the exchange microbially last?
So next step, you guys got to shake hands. I want you to shake hands like just as if you were meeting in the hall and you were like, "Hey Neil," or "Hey Robert, nice to meet you." Just shake hands.
Okay.
Yeah, ready?
I have to think about how to actually shake hands.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Robert, hi.
How are you?
Nice to see you. Yeah. All right.
Okay, now you feel it.
This my index finger too, because you guys because the palms didn't touch it.
And so every 5 minutes for the next 20 minutes,
And then we're gonna. That's what we had again.
Jack swallowed both Neil's hand and my hand,
I'm actually pulling off a slight patina of bacteria, but
just checking to see if any bacteria moved and for how long.
So what happened? What happened?
1 minute after the handshake, then around every 5 minutes for about 25 minutes.
What exactly does he do after he swabs them?
Well, he takes our bacteria back to the lab and he identifies our bacteria by their DNA.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean,
It strikes me, this is a whole new science, isn't it? I mean, like, there are 1,000 things you could wonder about.
well, yes, it is a whole new science. It's a science that's on the cutting edge. We know we're still researching and developing it, and it will take many years before we're ready for prime time.
But Jack says they are now at the phase where they can look into all kinds of different applications for this new microbiome detecting ability. Take, for example, forensics. Imagine if somebody comes into a room and does an evil deed.
Right now, we know that when somebody interacts with that space for 15 minutes, they leave behind enough of the signature for us to be able to detect 30 minutes later.
Huh.
If I had to pick between 3 people or 4 people that were to break into a room, there's a good possibility that I could detect which one of them had broken into that room.
Wow.
And they're only going to get better and better, he says. Do you think maybe one day you'll be able to track somebody like outside, moving around, purely based on the bacteria that they leave behind?
That's exactly what we're investigating.
He also says being able to identify bacteria in a town's sewer system
Will be really useful in helping us to predict a potential outbreak.
by noticing that there's a disease-causing bacteria right in the sewage, so you can go to town, and before anyone begins to show symptoms, you can say something like, wait a second, we've got to quarantine, vaccinate, we got to do something here.
And nip it in the bud, if you will, before it becomes a problem.
And as you may have heard, there's plenty of research looking at the microbiome inside of you.
It's revolutionizing medicine. I mean, we already have evidence that we can determine whether somebody will have a bad response to a drug based on the bacteria that are present inside them. So we can screen them using their microbiome to determine if they have that likely outcome.
But for now,
So come on in.
back to this absolutely crucial and breathtaking experiment. So let me just quickly remind you of the situation where we last left you. You and I. So a couple of weeks later, we got the results from Jack, and so I decided to go to Neil to deliver them.
Right.
And just to set up expectations here, Jack told us what he expected was immediately after our handshake, a little bit of me would be on Neil, a little bit of Neil would be on me, and then, pretty fast, the bacteria would die and be gone. However, I'm very happy to say that is not what happened. What percentage change would you guess you've caused on me?
Of me on you, 10%.
10%.
In life, I can't imagine it. I would say 1%, 10%, but not much less than 1%.
Well, it was less than 10. Let me keep it. It was significantly less than 10.
Okay.
It was 0.
0. What can't be 0? It'd be below there, whatever it is.
Below the detectable limit.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, they found a teeny number of bacteria, but they died.
There was essentially nothing.
Nothing from Neil.
Yes.
Nothing.
It's just odd. Should I put it that way? I mean, that was quite shocking. We were expecting there to be a lot more bacteria being transferred and to have an exchange of microbes, so that one person person picks up 10 bacteria, the other person picks up 10, 12 bacteria.
Do you think you might have washed your hand immediately previous? I don't think.
No, there was no sabotage.
Did you use alcohol?
No, I hate antibacterial. I don't use what do you call the Purell.
Yeah.
I never use any of it.
So, for reasons that are at this moment totally unknown, Neil's bacteria simply failed completely to affect my hand. The other side of this equation is, what would you guess the presence of my microbes on you was percentage?
Okay, what I know from physics of surfaces is if they have approximately the same coefficient of friction, then it's a complete two-way street. So if I gave you nothing, you would give me nothing, is what I guess.
Here's what happened.
He definitely picked up bacteria from you, and that led to quite a substantial disruption.
It turns out I swamped your hand.
You tell me you stank nasty.
I ruled you. I don't know what happened. They don't understand what a skank. I came out
Stank funky.
the percentage before the handshake was that you and I were 60% the same, 40% different.
Post shake, you were more than 75% correlated.
Okay, so you made him more you by 15% at least. I'm slightly proud and kind of troubled by that at the same time.
Not only did you get my microbes, but mine kept staying and staying and staying. Every time they smoked, I was still there. 6 minutes later, 12 minutes later,
That's nasty.
could it have been an hour later? My next on his hand.
Yeah, I mean, there's no indication that they were in decay.
When I left, you were covered with it.
Was the record show he beat his chest?
It looks like there was a possibility that some of them could have gone ad infinitum.
You think that I might stay?
What I think is that there's a high probability that some of those organisms, once they set up shop in his hand in those initial 20 minutes, could stay on his hand.
Oh, you mean like forever? Like forever and ever?
And there is a possibility.
There's a possibility.
Precisely.
Do you have any idea whether what just described is typical of a plumbing handshake experience?
My gut feeling is this is atypical.
Why?
Because they may be out-competed.
Jack says to understand just how strange this result is. Okay, think about it this way. Two hands coming together.
It's like taking a rainforest from Bolivia and dumping it on top of a rainforest in Brazil and wondering whether any of the trees from the Bolivian rainforest will take root and adapt and become prolific in that environment.
Oh, so the invaders don't really have a huge shot here then.
No, your bacteria have a field advantage. They are abundant and they are dominant in that environment. So we would generally suspect that very quickly the invading microbes start to die, they're killed off, they starve, and they just become inactive.
So it happens and it's over and nobody wins.
Precisely. There's mutual decay.
So am I now a successful invasive species on this hand?
Some of your microbes are successful invasive species, but yeah, absolutely.
How do you explain my success?
What we think actually happened is that something disrupted Neil's ecosystem, right? And we think, based on the analysis, that there was a streptococcus, which is usually quite rare because
That doesn't sound so good, streptococcus.
well, there are lots of species of streptococcus, but not all of them are pathogenic. So there was a streptococcus that was very abundant on your hand at the beginning, that was transferred to Neil's hand, and we see that transfer occurring. And that streptococcus somehow disrupted Neil's ecosystem and allowed for a greater transfer of bacteria from your hand to his hand.
Oh man, that's so interesting. So you have like a little band of like murderous little bacteria that went in and cleared away the forest, and then so that the rest of you could come in and colonize.
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question. All I know is that I'm all over the man.
I don't mind some Robert. Slathered on my body, that's fine.
Do you feel any defensiveness towards the fact that he managed to conquer your microbiome and yet yours was unable to do the same to him?
That, by the way, is producer Simon Hadley.
So, with the word conquer in that context, I would reword the sentence and say, my microbiome is one of the context, and where it is.
And apparently
Hey, Roberts, microbiome. Can't wait to get the hell off his body.
Oh, man. I came here thinking I would find out how long President Kennedy stayed on leave. Now there's suddenly a new question.
Because if he's a cool cucumber, it's all you stay on here. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're the You're the creepy, sweaty man with wet palms.
That's what you come here for, the repulsed.
Multiple media outlets are reporting that in recent months, attorneys for former President Trump have given more documents with classified markings to federal investigators. They also turned over an empty file folder marked classified, as well as a laptop belonging to a Trump aide. The FBI conducted a search of the Indiana home of former Vice President Mike Pence yesterday. Agents found one more document with classified markings. This follows the discovery of other sensitive documents there last month. NPR's Carrie Johnson has more.
The former vice president told a TV interviewer earlier this year he didn't have any government secrets in his home. And then one of his lawyers found what's described as a small number of classified materials, apparently in some boxes that were unopened. That aide notified the National Archives and DOJ, and the Justice Department sent some agents to do a thorough and independent search just in case anything else was there that didn't belong there. They found one classified document Friday and 6 more pages that were of interest.
NPR's Carrie Johnson. Florida's statewide prosecutor could soon have new power to prosecute voting crimes throughout the state. NPR's Ashley Lopez has more.
Florida lawmakers created the Election Crimes Unit last year. That agency has already arrested about 20 people for alleged voter fraud. However, some of those cases have been dismissed on procedural grounds. Defense attorneys have argued a state prosecutor only has jurisdiction if crimes are committed in multiple judicial circuits. Under this new law, though, lawmakers clarified that a statewide prosecutor can indeed prosecute people on election and voting matters. This means the Republican DeSantis administration would be able to bring cases against voters without local elected district attorneys, which in big cities are positions largely held by Democrats. Ashley Lopez, NPR News.
This is NPR News from Washington. Transgender youth, their parents, and advocates had a raucous public hearing in Florida yesterday. They urged the state's medical boards to eliminate new rules that will ban gender-affirming medical care for trans youth. NPR's Melissa Block reports from Tallahassee.
Florida's Board of Osteopathic Medicine voted to strip an exception for trans youth to get gender-affirming care as part of a clinical trial. Earlier, the doctors heard impassioned pleas to reconsider. Here's 18-year-old Sebastian Clark.
Gender-affirming healthcare saved my life. Genuinely, it saved my life.
12-year-old Linda Smith spoke for her trans and non-binary peers.
On behalf of those scared kids, I will beg you, please, 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 let us exist.
And 25-year-old Benzie Sparrow gave himself his weekly hormone injection in front of the doctors. As Florida's medical boards adjourned, the audience shouted, "Shame," and "We will not be silenced." Melissa Block, NPR News, Tallahassee.
The military and the FBI are recovering debris from an unidentified object shot down by a U.S. jet off the coast of Alaska yesterday. Officials don't say exactly what the object is or where it came from. They describe it as being about the size of a small car, smaller than the Chinese balloon, which was shot down off the coast of South Carolina last weekend. Officials say that yesterday's object was taken down because it was seen as a threat to civilian aircraft. I'm Nora Robb, NPR News in Washington.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include American Cruise Lines, following the journey of Lewis and Clark while small ship cruising along the Columbia and Snake Rivers. Learn at AmericanCruiseLines.com/NPR. Welcome to the People's Pharmacy. I'm Joe Green.
And I'm Terry Graydon.
Hypothyroidism is surprisingly common, affecting over 20 million Americans. In this condition, the thyroid gland does not produce an appropriate amount of thyroid hormone. This leads to a wide range of uncomfortable symptoms and some serious health consequences. Treatment is thought to be simple, but not everyone responds to the standard therapy. What can people do if they still feel bad while taking their prescribed medication?
To help us understand the complexity of treating hypothyroidism, we turn to one of the country's leading experts. Dr. Antonio Bianco is professor of medicine and a member of the Committee on Molecular Metabolism and Nutrition at the University of Chicago, where he runs a laboratory funded by the National Institutes of Health to study thyroid hormones. Dr. Bianco is a former president of the American Thyroid Association and author of Rethinking Hypothyroidism: Why Treatment Must Change and What Patients Can Do.
Welcome back to the People's Pharmacy, Dr. Antonio Bianco.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Dr. Bianco, a lot of your colleagues, endocrinologists, family practice physicians, internists, they think that thyroid disorders are easy to treat. Why is that a mistake?
Well, the most common disease of the thyroid gland is hypothyroidism. And it is true that for the last 15 years, we have been treating patients with hypothyroidism with the daily tablet of what's called levothyroxine. And the dose is easily adjusted. And usually we tell patients come back in 6 months or come back in a year. And this is sort of very straightforward, to the point that it doesn't have to be even treated by an endocrinologist. It can be treated by a primary care physician, a gynecologist, a geriatrician. Most internists can treat hypothyroidism. But you suggest it's not as easy as that. That's right. And that has been a mistake that we did in the last 15 years again. We assumed that once we achieved the dose of this magical drug called levothyroxine, patients will feel without symptoms, will be relieved of their symptoms. And in fact, it is true for most patients. We estimate that about 80%, maybe 85% of patients are treated with this approach and they feel fine. However, we do have a substantial number of patients that exceed small, 15%. But hypothyroidism is so prevalent. We have about 20 million people living in the US with hypothyroidism. So if you estimate about 10-20%, you're talking about 3 to 4 million people. And for those individuals, treatment is not as straightforward. Even though the doctor thinks that the treatment is okay, it's as it should be, they remain symptomatic. They still have symptoms.
Dr. Bianco, we have been hearing from people with hypothyroidism for decades ourselves. They write into the People's Pharmacy or they call and they say, I am taking Synthroid or Luvoxil, one of those T4 drugs, levothyroxine, and I still feel awful. I still feel tired. I still feel cold. Women still say I still am having problems with my menstrual cycles. Many people say I still can't lose weight. In fact, I keep gaining weight even though I'm trying hard to lose it. They have many symptoms and they don't feel good, and they say my doctor doesn't seem interested.
Well, not only that, they say, my doctor says I'm doing great. My TSH level, this monitor for my thyroid, is perfect. No problems. Be happy. Don't worry.
In a nutshell, you capture exactly what the problem is. That's exactly right. And so what we think is the problem is that these Synthroid or
capsule, they contain this molecule called levothyroxine, which is the thyroid hormone. And levothyroxine is not active, meaning when a patient takes a tablet of levothyroxine by itself cannot relieve symptoms of hypothyroid. It just doesn't do anything.
I think that's a really important point that isn't
Yes.
fully appreciated. Say
That's
it again,
correct.
please.
Yes, the substance contained in those tablets, either Luvoxil or Synthroid or any generic form of levothyroxine, it's not active. It's a dead molecule. And we rely on our body to take that molecule and activate, to process it, to transform it into a molecule that is biologically active, meaning can relieve symptoms of hypothyroidism. And some of us do that job very well. Unfortunately, some of us don't do that. And those individuals that remain symptomatic, we believe they have a certain problem in activating the molecule, the T4, to this other molecule called T3. And so they live in a state of chronic T3 insufficiency. And it so happens T3 is the molecule that relieves symptoms of hypothyroidism.
Perhaps we could take just a moment to review the physiology of the thyroid gland. Why is the thyroid, and in particular that active T3, so crucial to every cell in our body?
The thyroid mostly makes T4, which again is this molecule that is not active. But T4 remains in the circulation in the blood. A little bit of T4 goes into the cells. Most T4, it's in the circulation. Now, once T4 gets into the cells and tissues and organs, T4 is rapidly activated in T3, so that inside that organ, T3 can act and relieve symptoms of hypothyroidism. Now, when doctors look at the TSH, and you mentioned TSH is this hormone that controls the thyroid gland. TSH likes to see T3 in the circulation within the normal range, so that if you have a healthy thyroid, the TSH controls the thyroid gland to the point that T3 in the circulation is normal. Now, when a patient has hypothyroidism and we give the patient T4, only T4, and rely on the TSH to estimate how much T4 we should give, and the system gets confused because TSH regulates the T3 levels in the circulation, and yet we're giving a lot of T4 to the patient. Yes, we can regulate TSH with T4, but it's not the same as having an intact thyroid. And that has been the mistake we've done over the last 50 years. We relied on TSH and treated patients with only one hormone, and all along we needed two hormones to treat these patients.